Yeah.
Woo! Ow! Woo, 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 woo. Where are we at?
We are at.
One. And in a cool little studio we set up this morning, well, start of today.
Yeah, we bought this, right?
Yeah, if you want to help me pay rent, I'm not against it. No, no, I'm teasing.
No,
No,
it's
yeah,
great.
it's
It's
a
great.
it's a good little pad. We got the fern.
It's all that matters.
We're not between two ferns. We're two dudes, and a fern is between,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah.
We're
What else
back.
we got on here?
I threw the diffuser up there.
What does a
The
diffuser do?
Kimberly Queen. You can put oil in it and stuff, but I dumped it out and rinsed it because I don't know if she wants, like lemongrass and cinnamon blasted up at her. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So it's just water?
Yeah, just water in there. It's like a humidifier
Hmm.
basically right now. So
Okay.
she's getting some, because we've had the heater going all morning, man.
Yeah, I'm cold, dude.
I know, and I'm like,
I'm a cold boy.
I'm an oven. And yeah, I just don't. The ferns like humidity and kind of
Hmm.
chillier temps. And so,
Cool.
yeah. And then you got a pothos over there by you hanging down. And
This?
yeah, that's called a pothos. My ex, a woman she worked with, she was cool too. Like, yeah, funny lady, hippy dippy. But she had a 40-foot long pothos.
Hmm.
So that plant isn't usually like it's a trailing plant, but people don't usually let them trail that long. And Krisha got it, sorry, name dropped, but she got it from this coworker, and we had it wrapped around our living room.
Jeez.
Like from one plant up on top of this entertainment center, it went around one wall and around the other into the next room.
Dang.
Yeah, and usually you hang them, like let them drape, but we didn't have that kind of space. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, man, cool
Crazy.
plants, and then the cane palm behind, and
Right on.
yeah, yeah, I love
Yeah.
plants.
You do, huh?
I do.
You worked in a nursery for.
Managed it, yeah, for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I did it when I was in middle school, actually, and that was like my first like job. I
Yeah.
worked at my dad's bike shop in fourth grade, but then, yeah, middle school, my grandfather had the store in town and it had a nursery attached. And so I got
Hmm.
to go work there with Rod is his name.
Hmm.
Cool, cool dude. Like
Yeah.
super cool. And as a kid, I was like intimidated by him. Like this is, such a wise guy. And now as an adult, I just look up to him and want to emulate him. Like
Yeah.
the guy can fix anything.
Hmm.
He's an engineer and he knows plants and he knows like how to take care of them in a good way. And
Yeah.
yeah, I got to work there, then manage it, and yeah, left the camera job, moved back home, was going to do tile with my dad. That changed, and then was kind of up in the air on what I was going to do. And Grandma needed somebody to run the nursery, and yeah, man, it was fun.
Nice.
I have videos of it, man. That was heaven to me
Yeah.
on earth. Yeah, like creating that space that I could share with others, you know?
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
cool thing. I don't think we're doing it this year. I don't know yet, though.
Really.
Yeah. Just,
It's
yeah.
probably a lot. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, me going through the divorce and different things, like, yeah. Honestly, my ex and her siblings had had she not have stepped into the role and helped me with the nursery, she ran it last
Hmm.
year, man. I was always biking with you and Sway and all the guys.
Yeah.
She ran it. I
Hmm.
was either biking or I was in Phoenix filming or I was in St. George filming
Yeah.
and trying to do two things at once. I let a buddy down who I was working with in the
Yeah.
doing, let him down because I wasn't following through with stuff because if I wasn't there working, I was biking or at the nursery putting my time and energy and
Yeah.
let her down because she'd run that place, man. Like she came in. That's what I'm saying. Men need women. Women need men. Like on the last episode, we kind of dove into that, but like We really need each other. She organized it, man.
Yeah.
I was just the face. I really was. And she was the one who was scheduling the shipments. I'd help her on shipments and shipment day, but she was like the one who went through with inventory, an email, a Google location, like the things you need for a business. She was. And that's how I know she'll be successful. I'm excited for her. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a lot, dude. Did you know Jim Gaffigan, actually, the comedian? His wife helps him with his jokes, and she helps him with his scheduling, and she helps him with, yeah, like,
Nice.
his wife is a big role in him.
Yeah.
And, I think that's how it ought to be. Like, and then vice versa, you're a big role for her,
Yeah.
And so, no, I wasn't aware of it at the time, though, with the nursery. I did it alone one season, kind of alone, but like I managed it alone is how I'd view it, and like worked with a lady who really helped me as well. And yeah, no, it was cool creating the space the first season, and then the second season doing it married
Yeah.
and having her family there too. It was like this cool, in my mind, it was this coming together of family and like creating a different type of legacy in a sense. Like, you had the Robinsons, the Honeys, and the Pearsons, and the Noises. Like,
Yeah.
all of my family and me came together with all of her family and her. And then her siblings working there was just awesome. Awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, her little sister and little brother are two of the coolest kids I've ever met. Like,
Sweet.
her sister fell on a rebar when she was, I think, 3 or something like that, up at the park, the city park, tripped, and it went through her cheek. Boom.
Jeez.
And she got up, boom, walked over to the group and was like, I think I need a Band-Aid.
Dang.
Yeah, wasn't like, just, I think I need a Band-Aid.
Wow.
The story of that girl's life since, man, she is tough as nails. Like,
Crazy.
the coolest, most badass, like, she reminds me of my sister Bree, like, because her younger sister plays softball.
Yeah.
Bree played softball.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm like, this is a, like, smaller Bree. Like,
Yeah.
because
That's
she's,
cool.
dude, she's funny, tough. I'd always ask her, how was school today? All right. I guess I didn't learn enough. I got to go back tomorrow. It's like, dude, she was,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody came in the nursery, hi, welcome in.
Hmm.
You
How
know,
old?
at the time, I think she was 11. She might be coming up on 12 now, or she might already be 12. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude.
That's
It's a
cool.
trip.
Yeah.
I've never had that in a relationship where, like, other than the first girl I was, like, technically dated in high school,
Yeah.
her younger brother, like, seeing him again, I didn't see him for like 8 years, 7 years, and then I was in town at the pump track and saw him again. And you might know him. I'm going to name drop because the dude's got a cool Instagram, but Brecken Swap. I can't remember his handle off the top of my head. He's a freaking beefcake dude now.
Yeah. Huge.
But yeah, when I met him, he wasn't like as massive yet, but he was still just like super in shape, was throwing crazy tricks on a scooter at the pump track. And I was like, Brecken? And he's like, Derek. And I was just like, dude, I haven't seen you since like you were 10 and you were
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty with me in your basement. Like,
Crazy.
it was kind of cool. But that's what's cool about relationship too. When you date somebody, is it's not only them. Like, Sydney has a sister.
Yeah.
Her sister's awesome, hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I love her. And so
Yeah.
it's like you get more out of just one person in the relationship in a sense.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I ran with that. I wanted to talk more, man. Like, we talked a little on the last episode, and I did not know how many, like, how many lives you've been around that were taken, in a sense, by, a what Austin called act of courage and hope, you know?
Yeah.
Like some listening, it's suicide is the
Yeah.
technical term, but like I think everybody is kind of affected by that in a way. Like,
When somebody takes their life.
yeah, well, and just on a mass scale, I think that's something that's like gone on recent in the world that like you even brought up in the past episode a fifth grade kid.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's something that I've noticed kind of is spiking in a sense to me in the world is this kind of shift where young people are not able to look past certain obstacles.
Yeah.
And that even continues on, man. I've even, like, talking about it, I've even had multiple thoughts, even, like, not attempt, but, like, one where I really was kind of like, yep, I'm over it. Gun didn't go off. And I was like, dropped it and cried. Like,
Yeah. Jeez.
broke down, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have had that or have experienced when it does go through. And, you know, it's something I don't fully understand that I want to seek to understand more. And if you're open to share, man, like, I mean, what is it like? Like, you've expressed it a little, but what is it like when you do get to a point and you're observing it rather than being in it? Like, if that, does that make sense? Like, what is it like when you no longer are like, they did this to me, instead you're in them almost going, what was their headspace? Like, you're observing it rather than attaching and being it, you are now looking at it.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I don't know that I think the way I see it now, I don't know if this is really to answer your question, but the way I see it now is like, for the ones that I've experienced, there's never been a note, no reason, so to say,
No, none
left
have left a note?
mm, that
Really?
I'm aware of. Yeah, yeah. And so,
What in, like, I mean, that in itself is a whole different thing to me, at least. Like, I almost wonder, are you grateful there was no note, or is that something you even had to kind of become the observer on and not hold any attachment to what it
so yeah,
was?
like for a long time with my dad, after the experience I had with my dad's suicide, I think suicide, the suicides after that, I've grieved differently in a sense. Like
It wasn't
it
a
wasn't a lot
shock
of the
almost.
same, yeah,
It was more, I've been here before, I know
type of thing, yeah,
how
for
to
sure.
get through.
And so like with him, yeah, it sucked not knowing why. Because it really was, I mean, suicide's a surprise. Like it is. Even if somebody's
Completely.
like threatened it multiple times, a lot, like Tyson, he would say it quite a bit,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, we
in
all
his
have
life.
said it. Like, even to our parents, I feel as a kid going in the room, I hate you, I'm gonna do it, you
Yeah,
know, like, as a kid, we even threaten it. So, like,
yeah. I never
but it,
did,
no?
but my brother did.
Okay, I
Uh,
was one of those kids, man. I was like, take it to
really.
the extreme. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm wrapping this shit, like, this ship is sailing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah, throughout adulthood, that shifted, but
yeah,
I mean, I was the kid that hit myself, dude. When I'd get so mad, I didn't want to break things around me or hurt people around me, but I would kick my ass. Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
knocked myself out a couple of times in life, dude.
yeah.
But
Dang.
anyways, the surprise of it is true, I feel. Like, even when you think like they're in a hopeless, dark place, I feel you never do truly like expect that
Yeah.
to occur. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and I think that there's even those times that it can get unfortunately exhausting having that person in your life that is like that threatens it so much to the point that it's like you
do
might
it.
you might even say do it.
Yeah.
And
Nah,
then when they
man, I
finally
do.
do, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like it's that surprise, and there's levels to that. Like
It's
a
all
lot
a
of
web.
reasons,
It's
a lot
all
of so I feel like I had a pretty good, like I came up with the reason when my dad took his life that always helped, but it's still, it still is my assumption. And so over the years, what I've started to realize with everybody that's done it is there's a common factor, whether it's depression or some form of mental health. There's a common factor in that. And so that's what my mission in life is to understand. And even when I got to the point that I was like, I'm ready to die, I'm ready to kill myself, the common factor was mental health in some way or another. And so that's why I not only want to understand myself, realize, I think your dad's calling.
Izzy, I put that on silent just in case. Hey, he hung up on me instantly.
Dang.
He'll call again or not. We'll see.
Yeah.
He needs help moving that trailer, but I mean, I called him 3 times in between, so
You did. Yeah.
I did my part. I love him.
So, yeah, just trying to understand myself, what leads to my emotions, what leads to my thoughts, my beliefs.
Did that start, and I'm sorry to cut you off a little, but did that start maybe from like, I would say putting myself in your shoes. This is outside world, hearing another story in a sense, and
Yeah.
putting myself in your shoes, I would start digging into that almost out of a like driven fear at first, like I don't want this to be me. Like I'd be like, there is something going on. Like I'm diving in to do this because I feel that I'm the one to carry this out the correct manner that they meant to, that they weren't able to, but then they shared, like we said, the energies, they shared that with me, so now I can go forth and do this work for all of us.
Yeah.
And it'd be like kind of a fear at first because I'd be like, fuck, I'm next.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna, and so.
I think so, but I also think for a while, like I shared in the last episode, it took quite a while for me to really acknowledge and admit that I was depressed and struggled mentally. Like for a while, I my my ego got in the way in a negative way, as far as like, yeah, I don't struggle with it. I don't struggle with it, but I want to help others.
Prideful in it.
Yeah. And it's part of my journey, so I'm not like disappointed in that, but looking back, I could see how problematic it was in certain areas of my life, having that mentality, and then finally surrendering to the fact that I'm not better than them.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. So, I mean, literally within hours, I wrote down the word life on a piece of paper, leading and fighting evil.
I know. I
and
love
had
that.
this idea of like a place that anybody could go for anything.
Yeah.
Like hours after his suicide. And so from there, like a purpose was spawned, like it was born, but I needed to go through it myself.
Yeah.
And I did. Once I had that moment where I was crying so bad I couldn't see, couldn't drive, wanted to kill myself, and then didn't, and was able to, like I said, I was reminded of the 6 human needs. Like, that's when my journey actually began. Like, I went to therapy, 2 sessions of therapy, and thought I was good, But it wasn't that I thought I was good. I was like, okay, I need this, but I need it in a different way. Like, I don't want to go sit down one-on-one with somebody. Like, I didn't know what it was. And then probably a year after that, one of my best friends from elementary school we only stayed connected through Facebook. Didn't know where we were in life, you know.
Yeah.
I recently refriended him on Facebook or friended his new account, whatever it was. Like, saw that I wasn't friends with him, and so we friended, and then because for a long while I was pretty like I documented my life on Facebook pretty well, you know, and so
I think we all did at a point to an extent. Yeah.
yeah. So he like realized that I was living in Vegas, and he was going through this program. It's Choices Center in Las Vegas. And anyways, he said he was doing an exercise that day and just felt like he just needed to contact me, which it was so weird because even when we like became friends again on Facebook, it wasn't like a message and like we didn't like exchange contact information. Yeah. But he messaged me on Facebook, asked me for my number, called me, and was like, "Would you be interested in going to this?" And
what was this?
The Choices Center in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. And call it an emotional intelligence workshop, whatever. Like it was therapy.
Yeah.
It was like it was so healing.
Kind of like we spoke it with Austin, but this seminars, Turning Leaf over in St. George, like
yeah, so this
awesome group.
I don't know what they do, but I've heard from people that have gone similar experience.
When you can have breakthroughs with others. Is this the one where you did the numbers that you brought up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So this is how it led up to you going to this. I've wondered how you got to that thing. I don't know if you've shared it.
Yeah, he called me and, you know, obviously there's money that you had to pay, and I was like, just barely got my 401k that I had cashed out for my previous job. And I was like, I've got the money. Let's do it. Like,
dang.
No hesitation, nothing. And it turned out to be incredible. Like, if there's any of my Choice Center buddies listening, like...
That would be cool. Please reach out, actually.
I think there is.
That's like...
There's got to be, because when at least on my other podcast, because this is so new that maybe I haven't heard, like I was getting views from like Switzerland, which there's this lady in my group from Switzerland.
Dang.
Ireland, there's a lady in my group from Ireland. So like I think that they do.
That's
because
cool.
we stayed pretty, even though we don't talk all the time, like we're all friends on Facebook.
That's kind of how I am with the people I went through seminar 1, the Turning Leaf with.
Yeah.
We're friends on Instagram, Facebook, some Snapchat, and I mean, I'll run into them randomly, and it's just like, holy crap, how are you? How are you? And, you know, like, I feel that we could go 5 years without saying a word to each other and then run into each other, catch up on convo that it was like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the cool connections you build and that kind of stuff where...
Oh, it was incredible. Like, so there was, the program was 3 weekends.
Oh, different call.
Oh. And I didn't end up going to the last weekend. And when the group found out that I wasn't going to go, like, they thought, because I couldn't go because I really couldn't afford to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. I just moved back to Fredonia, living with our buddy, you know, in Fredonia.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm getting you a plane ticket. I'm like they were just, it's cool. Just such a like family. You know? Like,
did you take that opportunity or did you still, see,
well,
man.
because like,
you've learned now though, if someone reaches out and is like, hey man, I'll get your plane ticket, you go, what time?
Okay, but plane ticket from where? Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they couldn't get me a plane ticket.
Yeah, true.
They couldn't like get me there.
That's true.
They really couldn't. Like,
Uber doesn't come out this far.
No. Like, there just wasn't a logical way. I mean, they could have sent me money, whatever, but my car, like, I was in a bad spot. Like,
this was the Malibu,
it wasn't
isn't
registered.
Is it the Malibu? Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be driving in general. Like, it just, I didn't want to force it. Like, it felt like I shouldn't have gone, and so I didn't.
I'm teasing. I know, man. You follow that gut.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was good. So to answer your question, like, we may never know, even if somebody leaves a note, like, there's so much going on in their life that it's, you can drive yourself crazy with the question why. But I do think ask it.
Yeah.
Because if I never would have asked why, life, leading and fighting evil, never would have came to me.
Yeah.
I believe that my dad wanted to kill his alcoholic self, and
You've expressed that, and
that's
in
what he
doing
did.
so, yeah.
And in doing so, he happened to be drunk when he did it, and so it was like, do it, kill me. And so, like, those came from me asking why. But where it can get scary, and what it did to me, like I shared in the last episode, is like sometimes that why led back to I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I could have done more. I should have seen the signs. You know, all these things that you just can't change now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey,
Do you
they're
even
gonna come up, but know that that's just you
creating the
trying
story?
to take ownership of something that you don't need to own.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's
that's
not
true.
for you.
With the questions though, like those coming up, like the I'm not good enough and that, I've even heard to dive deep into those thoughts where when that thought pops up, you write it out or you think it out in a sense. I like writing because it's in front of me,
I think
but you write out, I feel I'm not good enough because.
Yeah.
And then it just flows, man, and you start writing and then you get to the bottom of it in a sense, and then you create a new, you go through and you do a new belief. You like
I think there are like these heavy things in life that maybe there is something in the formula that says start with some smaller things and learn that and see that it helps before you get to the big ones.
Absolutely.
Because they can be pretty depressing. Like I've always written poetry, whatever, and sometimes it got so heavy that I couldn't. Like I was like, wait, these aren't my thoughts. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And so just be careful, just know your limits, and know who you can turn to if you do go through the process, because it's gonna
the web will unwind, man. Yeah.
And so just be prepared. Have a network that you can turn to and just say, hey, I just went down a deep hole.
Yeah.
I need some friends. I need some love. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. If anybody watching, you're going through stuff, write to the thought, write to the emotion. Just write a letter to it. That's the gatekeeper. Sorry, this is taking longer than we thought. But I had mentioned the kid on my basketball team. See, and even there, like, I feel like I have to say the kid on my basketball team. But he was a kid in the community. He was a kid of a family. But I still am holding a piece of, like, responsibility for it.
I was coach.
It's interesting. Yeah. But, yeah, when I found out about him was when the first letter from the gatekeeper came. And I was at work, and the line just kept coming to me. Hello, old friend. Hello, old friend. And it was suicide talking to me. And so originally it was me talking to suicide, and then I realized, like,
now it's come to me.
Like, this suicide person that I'm writing to, that I was actually mad at first, is the last, metaphorically, the last thing that our loved ones see before they cross that gate of suicide. And sometimes that the gatekeeper is able to turn them around. So the ones that have survived suicide.
Wow.
The gatekeeper was able to turn around and tell them to stay alive.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't, he fought like hell. I picture this guy as just a withered, old man.
Strong though.
One of my friends from high school, he draws like, it's probably not the correct term, but like scribble art, like very good though. Like it's not a mess. It's a mess, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I loved his style, and I was like, I told him about the gatekeeper, and he drew me a picture, and it's the gatekeeper now. But
Where do we find that? Where is that at? I want to see this now.
I could show you, but if you go to my Facebook, I think it's on there, the picture of it.
Okay.
It's cool, man. It's really, really cool. But anyways, yeah, I have such a different view on suicide now, and then even, hearing Austin, like the first time I met Austin, he told me that it was a sign of courage and hope for somebody. Like that helps. Just, yeah, man. We get so caught up in thinking that we have to be alone. Like this could
yeah.
feel like, hey, you've got to be alone. But no, in order to be at one, you have to be at one with a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like and you can't be with those things unless you are at one. So
yeah,
just it's not meant to be done alone. Like this life isn't meant to be alone. This doesn't mean be alone.
No, it means be at one people, be at one being, be at one together. Like.
And when you can start with yourself, that just gets stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's all wild, like how everything's unraveled from your story to like we each have stories. Everybody has a story, but it's interesting when positive can roll out of a story in a sense, like.
And we get to decide that
all the time. One of my favorite quotes is the life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us.
And my addition to that is, and you get to decide.
Yes.
What that means.
Yes. It's because, kind of like success. Yeah. What is success? Like.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
What you think it is.
Is success living on a beach in a tent? Or is success living in a giant house with neighbors? Is success, like what is it to you as an individual?
Yep.
Best thing I ever learned in 5th grade was success. That's the way to spell success. It's like it stuck with me. That's the one thing, like.
You learned that in 5th grade?
Yeah, Miss Hamblin taught us that little catchy jingle. Yeah, we had it on a spelling. You know how you did the weekly spelling?
Yeah.
And I
think
that was one of the 18 words.
Yeah.
Yep.
Success, huh?
Success.
Fun.
Yeah, dude. I find it interesting though, just how, like, it's trippy to me when you think about how it is energetic and different things like that, but it's also cool because then you become aware of your music, your movies, your groups, your life, your things, and so.
Yeah. And that's like, for me, when it comes to music, I can be listening to the saddest song, but be feeling so good, and it's so weird. Like if I do pay attention to the lyrics, I'm like, I could let it get me down, but it could also be reminding you that it's not as bad as the song is or whatever. You know, like for me, music really is like, people don't love when I play the music at parties because it's not all party music, but it's music that gets me party vibed, like pumped, like excited, like, I don't know, it's so funny. I can jam to an acoustic song. I could party to an acoustic song. It doesn't have to be this like beat filled, just, I don't know, it's interesting.
That is, man.
Yeah.
I like Swedish rap.
I don't know that I've heard Swedish rap.
Dude, I love like Swedish, Russian, like French, just other country rap. Mariachi music, I love. Or it's no, coca, no. No. It's about a crazy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. What was the thing we were going to do on this one, too?
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to keep talking some deep energy, or do we want to do some light?
Where are we at with it?
And where's
34 minutes?
We're at 2:05. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Any other questions or anything when it There's probably a lot I could say about my experience, and I would love to hear any experience you have had.
I've not with, like, mine's more just like natural cause, like,
Which is still tough.
yeah, but like to me, I've gotten to a point where now, like after Porter passed
Mm-hmm.
on, that one was a recent one that kind of hit,
Yeah.
and it hit the whole community, but after that one, man, it clicked, and I was like, oh, like it's to us, it's them leaving, but to their spirit, it's time. It's all timing, and so it's a divine thing that I am aware of, but I don't see quite yet, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's spiritual graduation.
Hmm.
And so we can view it as them dying, but really it's like, even after talking to Austin and hearing what he said, like, he got to talk to, and so did some other people I know, but Austin saying, like, how cool the conversation was with him,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it was his time. Like, same thing with Josh when I was in third grade. Like, there's just timings,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like when your spirit's gotten its kind of filling, it gets full, it's time, And
Yeah.
so that's where I'm at now with it, but like I still don't quite like suicide's just one that's hard in my brain. It's like I've been there, I've thought it. I know a lot of people who have, but like that's just one that's different, like to me, at least as an
Yeah.
outside source, but it's a different teacher. It's not that it's when people hear different, they think, oh, that's worse than. It's like, no, like you put that assumption and label onto it. Different just is. And
Yeah.
it's because I've not really experienced a whole lot that it is different. And
Yeah.
so us talking like this helps me at least, and maybe the people listening, like, yeah, helps me get a better understanding. Like,
Well, and that's all part of like, you know, being at one, um, mastering perception is hearing other people's points of views is so important because right or wrong, like it helps to see it from different angles. Like we don't see anything the same
yeah,
ever. We get pretty dang close,
like
but
our
we
word
never
game.
see it the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
yeah.
that alone showed. Like, our words get confused. So imagine what our brain and our eyes are doing all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's actually an important thing to elaborate on is like how impactful our words are to our life. It's it's way more than even I can recognize, and I recognize how important it is more than I did last year, the year
yeah,
before. It's like just yeah, man. Like so a fun example of this is like you can use the same words and come out with the totally different meanings. So the dog bit Johnny or Johnny bit the dog. Like two totally different meanings. Be it, you can
yeah.
it tells a different story, but it's the same words.
I know I'll be like Johnny. If a dog bites me, I'm biting it.
Yeah, yeah. Or
That is.
one that I use to like help train leadership is there's three different ways to say this of you're lying or I'm gonna forget the second one. Uh, Gosh dang it. Oh yeah, you're lying or you're wrong or I think you're mistaken. And it's like which one feels better,
Right?
you
Yeah.
know? Like and
You
it's
don't
just
want to be
words.
told. You don't want to be told. You want
Yeah.
to be asked.
Like if you say you think I'm mistaken, I'm like, "Oh,
Am I?
so you're still in thought, you're not convinced, you're not certain.
Yeah.
We can talk about it now." But if you're like you're wrong and then even you're wrong sucks to hear, but it still allows like, "Okay, maybe I am." But if you tell me I'm lying, like
Game over.
I'm like, "All right. you.
Game over.
Like,
Yeah. No, I get that.
But and just even, you're big on the I am statements.
They are fun.
And like those are so important. Like the things we say that we are. So sorry, man. I'm running
No,
with
but
these
it's
ones
good.
today.
You're on some good.
Two forms of belief. There's global beliefs and rules. So global beliefs are like all men are, or all Republicans are. You have these beliefs about these groups of people or these things globally. Rules are, a global belief also is I am a man. I am a Christian. And then that has beliefs behind it, right? Like when I say I am a man, there's a lot of beliefs that come with that. I have to be strong. I can't cry. I don't believe that, but like those are some
I get what you mean.
common things.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Rules are like if this then that type of a thing. So like if Sydney doesn't text me by 9 a.m., then she doesn't love me.
Oh, so kind of OCD. Like if I don't turn the lights on and off 3 times, the monster's gonna get me or something. That's a rule. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a belief. Like but we don't realize the impact all the time of those subtle things. The language we use, man, it's crazy. But back to the I am. It's like, especially if we repeat it enough, it's hypnotizing.
Well, dude, even just the word I am, like that alone, you don't even have to add anything onto it. You just say it. And over the course of a minute doing it, you all of a sudden start thinking these great things about yourself. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
Which, to me, it's like be it so and so be it.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked that a little too, where be it so is like I'm speaking this into existence. Be it so. I am. Be it so.
Yeah.
So be it is like, well, kind of like a rule. Like if this happens, this. Like so be it. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Which is, words are
powerful.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. They become our identity, man. Like.
Yeah. I keep rubbing my teeth with my tongue because I got like a film from all the coffee I've been drinking today.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Plaque. Yeah. It's yeah. Mind your words. Pay attention to them. That's why
be careful with those spells you cast.
Yeah. If you read the oh my gosh. Wow, the 4 agreements.
Oh yeah.
The first one is be impeccable with your words.
Yeah, man.
It's so important.
I think we all fall short too at times.
Oh, yeah. There's so much room for growth.
What's interesting is I think that tie-in to be impeccable with your words also kind of ties into like in moments words fall short and they're not needed. So by being impeccable, those moments that words won't fill. And instead a hug does, or a simple look, or a smile. Or
what I love about what you just said is we don't I'm going to forget the percentages, but
it's like 85% of us is body language and the rest is spoken.
Body language is the most received form of language. And so you're right. Yeah. Like you don't always need to use your mouth and your voice. It's actions, man.
It's what you're sending out.
Yeah.
And this is the funny thing that projects all of this. Like, I'm the big with that whole saying of the eyes are the gateway to the soul. I'm big in that, man. Like, sometimes when I look in somebody's eyes, I just tear up. And it's just because they have such just a loving pureness to them that it's like, like, and then when they hug you, that's like, back to Porter, man, that dude gave the best hugs ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm not kidding. Like, and I'm not a big hugger, but I looked forward to those, man, because it was just this warm embrace. And we all can do that for each other if we choose to, set aside our pride and our egos and just love and be at one.
Get out of our way, yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
keep saying that, and I'm not name dropping it, but it is like, you know, always live out of love and live out of your true being, which is greatness, and that creates this at one
Hmm.
with all. And so it's pretty wild.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. And I had this experience once. This I was gonna say random, but it wasn't quite random. But the person, so one of the founders, owners of the Create Room that I work for, his wife was on her way with two friends to, I think Sedona or something, and they stopped in so that she could. I don't know that she's ever been to the facility here, but mostly to show her friends. And this guy was like not a lot of people's cup of tea. He was out there.
Rough around the edges, or
Just
what do you mean?
out there, like hippie, like you could tell he just had a different way of thinking than most people we've grown up with. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And but like the first thing he asked me was, "Hey, what's that date on your neck?" And I was like, it's the day my dad took his own life." And then it was just like we just had this connection, you know. And so when he was leaving, he's like, "Can I give you a hug?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can I teach you how to hug?" And I was like, "Yeah." So it didn't start with that, but he calls it a giraffe hug. And so it was just where you just put your chin around each other's neck and hugged. And it like, yeah, just brought you in closer. And like when he told me that, I'm like, I'm not going to hug another man like this. But I was like, get out of your own freaking head, Clyde. Just did it. And I was like, oh,
That feels
wow.
like home.
Wow.
That feels like love.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, and then like even before that, man, he had me like he laid on his back and put his feet up like this. And you know when you're a kid,
He did not
your parent would
Superman
fly you.
He Superman
But
you.
I laid my back on him and just let it go. And he was just like moving my body around, man.
What?
Yeah, dude. But it felt so good. It was like,
Yeah, like zero gravity. You're like,
just like, oh.
I am like just fluid right now.
So I'm just at work having all this happen, man. It was so cool.
Oh,
It was cool.
man.
But I wouldn't, like, there's a version of me in the past that never would have had that experience.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. That's
And-
kind of like the video when Mike Tyson nibbles Hasbulla or whatever. Have you seen that? When
yeah.
he's kind of juking him and he,
Yeah.
that's being vulnerable, man. Like
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
That's-
No, I went and told Kevin, and he's like,
He's never lifted
He's
me
like-
off the ground.
he's like, what? What? Like,
Like,
you know,
me and
just
him
wouldn't
got
have
that
ever
bond.
done that. Like,
Yeah.
which, like I said, man, there's a version of me in the past that never would have had that experience.
Yeah.
And it's one of the coolest experiences
Yeah,
I've ever had.
never had a
like-
grown man lift me off the ground. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
man.
cool. Like the hugging too. Porter taught me it's heart to heart.
Yeah.
So you
I
hug
like that.
like this side. Most people hug like that and it's away, but you hug like that. So it's
Yeah.
your hearts are touching.
I like that, yeah.
And so do that with a giraffe hug, man.
The giraffe hug's a different game, dude.
That's a game changer.
Like putting your neck on someone else's
yeah,
neck
you're
in
just
general.
like nuzzled up in there.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy. It was cool though. It was
That's
cool. It was really, really cool. Interesting soul, man.
Yeah.
Interesting soul.
I'm
that's for
already
sure.
intrigued. I'm
Yeah.
like, huh.
And they were going to Sedona to do like a sound
The
meditation.
sound baths?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
So I also experienced a bowl.
Yeah.
he
Oh,
played,
a
he
bowl
played a
of what?
bowl.
No, I'm teasing. Yeah.
Rung a bowl in my ear too, man.
Dude.
It was great. Like all within 30 minutes. That was the other.
Wow.
Like this just like this conversation, and then
Time is just a
like
thing of the past to this guy.
It's like a big old gust of wind came through, and all this
Yeah.
happened. It was crazy.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah. He just whips out a bowl. He's like, ooh.
Yeah, just boom.
Yeah.
Or yeah, that's what. Yeah.
They tap it. Doom.
Yeah.
and it starts like echoing in your brain. It's
Yeah.
like brain floss.
Yeah. I like
Just
that.
in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, it's like, kind of get sidetracked there. Forgot where all that started with, but it's just be open. Like,
Yeah.
man, curiosity is such a powerful thing. And when you're truly curious, it's like, do you really have any belief at all?
Yeah.
Because belief is like such a certain thing about what something means. And like, I would honestly would love to live a life where it was just like, I have certain things that drive me, but I'm not cemented in any belief.
Yeah.
Like, let me hear you out.
Yeah.
And then if I like it, I like it. If I don't, good for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I even think like I even fall into the category where I share my beliefs really quick, I feel. And the moment you do that, it opens it to debate.
Yeah.
So if you are okay and not cemented in the belief that you currently are thinking, then it's okay. But if you're cemented in it and somebody starts debating it and saying theirs, you're like,
Oh, yeah.
what?
Think about.
And so it's like,
Well, so perfect example. Think about any argument you ever have had.
yeah.
Is it because you didn't know something, or is it because you thought you knew something?
It's a mix, and usually miscommunications thrown in there somewhere
Yeah.
because it's like that different energies, one's knowing, one's asking, one's no, and it's like that.
It's a good point, yeah.
But no, that is true.
Yeah.
Any argument usually does start out with, well, I think, or I know, or
You did.
yeah, this is.
Yeah. And sometimes it's accurate. Like sometimes
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying did happen,
Yeah.
but
It's the way it was brought up.
it's this. Shadow and I had this conversation once that I'm gonna butcher, but it was like the difficulty with arguments is that there's two different perceptions trying to look at. So the reality to me is not reality. Reality is what I perceive. Reality is what you perceive. And so when that's not lined up, when we don't see it the same, but I want you to see what I'm seeing,
yeah,
that's an argument.
That's truth.
That's like, I'm gonna stand on this ground and until you see what I see.
I'll die here on this hilltop.
Yeah. And I find
true.
myself doing that, like when I get frustrated, or Sydney and I get in like a argument or even just a discussion, like it's when I start to, or when she starts to just like, you're not seeing it the way I'm seeing it. It's like, okay, here we go, But anyway.
Here we go again. And here I go again on the road. Going down the only road I'll ever know.
Bon Jovi?
I don't even remember. I can't think on it right now. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone.
Dang it, I think it is Bon Jovi.
But you don't want to be a drifter either.
Why?
So the book, it's again either conversation or outwitting the devil, but yeah, it talks about drifters, and it's someone who's not definitive of purpose. So they're just kind of like drifting. They'll smoke cigarettes with the crowd that smokes cigarettes. They'll do and all of us naturally kind of drift without knowing it. And like,
absolutely, yeah.
The book's kind of a trip, man, really. It brings up how like the devil, even in the conversation, says, I'm the negative portion of the atom. And he's like, well, who is the positive? And he says, that's my opposition, what you all call God. And it's like this cool, it dives into every bit of everything, and how like the devil is actually within all things in a sense. And it's an interesting thought to me, because it is like in the Bible, Adam and Eve, you had two positive ions, and then you had the devil, Lucifer, the snake, the one negative. And that creates an atom, not an Adam. It's an interesting words again.
Yeah.
But Yeah. 2 positives to 1 negative, man. That's how it.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I definitely want to find that book and read it. I've never read Napoleon Hill. I've heard a lot of it, a lot of him
Nowadays,
referenced.
he's like, you could view it as toxic masculinity if you wanted to label that. I won't lie, like you could in a
Yeah.
sense, but it is truthful words that he wrote, man. That like, it's cool because he talks about Napoleon the Conqueror, Napoleon Bonaparte, or however you pronounce his last name, and he was conquering everything, taking over the world in a sense. And the moment he allowed his men around him to influence him
Hmm.
to leave his wife Josephine and have affairs and start sleeping with other women, he failed.
Hmm.
He was conquered. And it was that fall from his strength, the woman who helped him get to that conquering period.
Hmm.
The moment he left her, he lost. And so
Crazy.
Napoleon Hill ties in that men will climb mountains for women. We'll build nations for women. Like it always comes back in my mind to that drive. And even if you're, like let's say same-sex marriage or you're into the same sex, that goes for you as well. You would climb a mountain for your boyfriend or husband, as a
Yeah.
gay man, like you would. As a lesbian woman, you would. Like it's just that natural for the opposite team in a sense that we care about. We'll do whatever's necessary in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's cool. His books are cool, man. Napoleon
Yeah.
Hill, he's an old school thinker, but
Well, and that's like, I struggle with this and I don't know exactly where I'm at on it, but I I'm going to say it this way. There's probably some important leadership skills or qualities that even Hitler had that we could learn from. I don't know, I've never looked into it, but he's such a terrible man, terrible person, terrible.
well, he used the opposite side of this blade in a sense.
Yeah.
You can use this sword to fight it, or you can use this sword to
Yeah.
like stand for it in a sense.
Yeah. I guess my point is, and like
Which
I say
I
that
agree though.
I say that, and I'm never gonna go like try to study Hitler,
No,
but like
no, but you're
I
saying
think
though
we get this idea of people, and so everything about them is
that.
we can't
Yep.
we
We
can't
can't
learn
look
from
past.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's like, yeah, so if Napoleon Hill had a different way of thinking than I do in certain ways, I'm sure that I can relate in other ways though.
Absolutely.
Like, why not give it a try? Why not try to read and
So
learn
true.
more,
The
And even
moment we
then, like,
shut off to it,
yeah,
the moment we don't receive.
yeah,
Like, because what you've already said, it's the reality we perceive. And so
yeah,
we can choose reading a book, watching a movie, hearing a song. We can choose what to keep and what to leave. And we forget that we have that kind of freedom. We
yeah,
think the moment we take it in, it's us. It's like,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
I like that though, that thank you for bringing that up because the listeners may have been like, I'll never read Napoleon Hill if he's like that.
yeah,
But it's like, no, give him a chance because, I personally, I think, and I may have said it, man, I think we're falling away from what used to be the most beautiful thing, and that was written word to each other in a sense. Like, and the way we carried ourselves and spoke, you look at the writings of a man in the 1800s to his wife. Holy crap, man, it's better than the Notebook. It's better than any, and it's just a man expressing his love and admiration to this woman. And then hers
yeah,
back are like heart-wrenching too. It's just beautiful the way,
yeah,
and we're falling away from that, I think. Like, we don't even speak them anymore as much. Like, I know
yeah,
for a fact I didn't tell my ex-wife enough that she was amazing.
yeah,
I know I didn't. Like, looking back, yeah, I fell short,
yeah,
and we got to do that. We got to remind the people we love that they're loved and that they, like Austin says, you have a purpose. You are a miracle. Like,
yeah,
you're a miracle and you have a purpose.
yep, yep,
And we got to remind each other that,
yeah.
I've learned. But I don't know where we were talking or where I ran with that. We were talking about Hitler one moment, and
Yeah.
now it's, yeah.
Well, one
But I
thing
like that spin too. Sorry, one thing.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I just liked your spin on that to really put it in perspective of like, let go of all labeling in a sense and view it as, you know, everybody's got the two positive to them and the one negative.
Yeah.
And just because they choose to work out of the negative doesn't mean that those two positives aren't still in existence within them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
Yeah, I think just knowing like your values and maybe it is your purpose, that helps to be able to listen to somebody you normally wouldn't listen to, because then you can discern, okay, do I agree or don't I?
yeah,
Rather than just not agreeing at all. There's some important stuff out there that could help you, like, and it's going to come from the mouth of somebody you wouldn't listen to because you think they're a Democrat and you don't listen to Democrats.
right?
Whatever. Like,
Yeah,
okay, all right. If that suits you, let it be. But not for me. I'm
yeah,
gonna I'm gonna learn as much as I can while I'm on this earth.
absolutely, man.
So
That's what we're here to do.
yeah, yeah,
I like that too, that, you know, some of our greatest teachers are right in front of our face. We just never take the time to ask,
yeah.
you know, like oh, speaking of, I was going to say Christmas, but speaking of, happy Easter Sunday, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot it was Easter even.
Well, this
Like,
one's not even gonna come
it
out on
won't,
Easter,
it
but
won't, but yeah,
just shows the viewers how committed we are to this.
right?
Here, we've been here since 9. It's
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
We're
It's a fun
committed to
time.
this podcast. But yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah, dude, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, we're it's hard to think ahead. Like
It is.
this
I know,
episode's,
'cause last Sunday I could have been like, hey, happy Easter,
yeah.
and it's like, whoops.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Nah, but one of the best Christmases I've had, man, was when I lived in Phoenix, Christmas Eve in Phoenix. I went on Mill Avenue and just sat down with this homeless guy and talked to him and shared some cigarettes, man.
Hmm.
That part, you know, could have been left out in a sense. Like that wasn't the highlight, but just talking to him,
Yeah.
hearing where he was from, his name, his story, his family, his siblings, like his thought process in a sense. Like
Yeah.
that was cool to me. And you
Yeah.
know, we didn't exchange numbers. He probably didn't have a phone. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but it was like honestly almost in my mind at the time it was an honor to Jesus.
Hmm.
I'll be honest, like in my mind I was like, you know what, this guy was on the street with the lepers and like the people that were
Hmm.
ill and not in the shiny temples. Like he was
Hmm.
out with the homeless. So that night I made it my goal. I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to the first homeless person I see.
Hmm.
And the first couple, they were all asleep, just passed out, and I didn't want to like nudge them and wake them
Yeah.
up. And then
Hey, talk
found,
to me.
yeah, found him, and he was kind of coherent. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, bought him some pizza. We shared some smokes. It was a good Christmas dinner with a long lost family.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
That is cool. I think there could be more of that, man. Like, yeah, yeah. We that save that for another episode, probably. Just
the homeless
because
man,
no, just that that idea and how there's other examples of that I think there could be more of in the world.
yeah, man.
It's yeah.
I'm the crazy dude though that gives the hitchhikers rides. I won't lie,
I've
man.
done. I have in the past. Yeah.
I took a hitchhiker. He was from New Jersey. I'm spacing his name. Crazy long beard, red crazy hair, and
Hmm.
I saw him the night before at Texaco. Talked to him for a minute. Bought him a Mountain Dew, and then that morning I saw him walking, and I was on my way to Hurricane from St. George for an oil change. So I pulled over. I was like, "What's up? Where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm just headed towards Zion." And I was like, "Right on. I'm getting an oil change in Hurricane. You want to come with, and then we'll cruise over that way?"
Hmm.
We ended up going to Zion, parking my car, walking to a shuttle, riding a shuttle up the canyon, hiking to Emerald Pools, and then going back to the car, man. And
Really?
like, Yeah, I drove him up through the tunnel and then dropped him off at that gas station by that campground outside of the park.
Yeah.
And yeah, just said, see you later. And it was cool.
That's way cool.
Shared a day with this guy who was hitchhiking.
Heck yeah, man.
And he was a trip. He
Yeah.
was lots of acid, I think, man.
Yeah.
I have never dabbled with acid, and I think it's just out of fear.
Yeah.
And it's out of, I don't need to know. So it's not really a fear. It's more like, yeah, I am kind of scared what it would do to my brain, like in
Yeah.
my thought process. And I also really don't care or have an interest or like an inkling to know.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I think I'd do like ashwagandha in South America before acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some root that comes from the earth. That to me is more.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's, I think, stance against acid is like it's synthetic or whatever, but
But to me, like even mushrooms, man, I could go off on those. Like some people love them, but I see the danger in them. Like,
yeah, I enjoy mushrooms.
I have had my fair share in the past where in, places where they were legal, I tried them and like, yeah, I dug it, but I also see like, it's just simpler to me than that. Like, you think you're getting towards this light, but really you're being led astray from
Hmm.
the bigger picture in a sense. But I did have a cool experience where I held my body one night and cried and thanked it.
Hmm.
And I've never, like, I've had that, experience before, but this night it was just like, thank you. Like, you have kept up with my spirit that wants to run like the wind,
Hmm.
and you have kept up, and you have made that happen.
Yeah.
And I just held it and cried, man. And since
Hmm.
that night, my body has felt lighter.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, it was just like this like acknowledgement that, without this, I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
do what my spirit, like, I want to soar, man. I'm going to learn how to fly with this thing without,
Yeah.
like, I'll just be running and then, like,
Yeah. Maybe.
if pigs can do it, I know I can. I've seen
Hell,
some pigs fly.
hell yeah.
Do you remember, this is aside from it, and this just came up because the pig fly thing, but when Obama was elected and like went into office, this was back in like '08 or something like that, or '09, and there was a joke, man, because the swine flu broke out kind of close to him going into office, and somebody put it out there, and they're like, yeah, they said pigs would fly before we had a black president. Well, 100 days into his inauguration, the swine flew. It's like, you
Nice.
dirty dogs. But yeah, like, you gotta have
funny.
humor in that kind of stuff, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, us white people had a national fucking, pardon my French, but yeah, we lost our crap when Twinkies went discontinued. Hostess, I remember it. It was
Yeah.
like the stock market crashed or something, man.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I gotta eat Little Debbie. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
What's this word game, man?
Yeah, should
What
we
are
play
we
a
at
game?
on time?
Oh, we're an hour 8.
Do we want to come back and do
Next
the game?
one?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, man, that's the thing, right?
It goes so fast.
Yeah. It does. It
Is
does.
that what you were going to say the thing was? Or no? I thought we were finishing each other's sandwiches for a moment there.
Yeah, that's what. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to leave them with? What are your ideas?
Man. So much. There was a lot. I wish I had the like hotline memorized, or I think there's a 3-digit number you could dial now, but just, if anybody's struggling out there, like, reach out.
I was going to say Logic has that song too, which is the number, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah. Don't stay quiet. It's you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to take yourself out. Like, it's hard. Life is tough. It's always going to be tough, sure. But if you can, I mean, really, if you can understand yourself, understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling,
yeah.
understand how to be with those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, it's really not that bad.
No, man, it's not. You gotta like free yourself in a sense from, like, at least for me, I was caught up in a lot of my own victimhood and continually, we gotta
It's
free
easy. It's easy
ourselves.
to get into that.
The
Yeah.
little voice, man.
Yeah. Free yourself. Go ahead.
No, but just that little voice, yeah,
Mm.
like you gotta go through and free yourself from that little voice in a sense. And, I think we're all a little scared of our true greatness.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all, to an extent, every person is like, oh, I can't do that or dress like that or say that or do that. Like,
My deepest fear is not that I am inadequate. My deepest fear is that I'm powerful beyond measure.
yes, yes, man.
Yeah.
And
I think I had this thought, sorry to cut you off. I
no,
had this
no.
thought once that was kind of reverse psychology, because I think in the moment, our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. Like when I wanted to take myself out, like it was all that I wasn't enough.
Yeah,
It wasn't that I thought I was powerful beyond measure in the moment. So I think like I love the quote,
yeah, man.
but
That's
it's like instead of thinking that significance is the most important thing, it's not. Like, anyways, yeah. Just cut you off, but
no, I'm with it.
yeah,
I like it.
it's important to be significant because it is one of the needs. Like, just find it different ways. Like,
Tune into it.
most of the ways we're getting significance isn't serving us.
No, it's an illusion of significance, but it isn't true significance.
Yeah.
It's this.
It's a hit in the moment,
Yep,
not a long-term gain,
yep.
typically.
No, I agree,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Until it's found within.
Yeah.
And once you're like, I don't need anyone else to tell me that, like, I already know,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
dropping it into fifth gear, hitting the freeway now.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the times it like what it could be is, significance before love, significance before contribution, significance before growth. But if it's just flipped, like I can feel significant if I contribute.
Yeah.
I can feel significant if I love. Like that alone
Totally.
will change your life around.
I agree there.
That'll change your life.
I agree.
And then if you do get even deeper to the point, because I think self-love is a lot more difficult than it's made out to be.
Oh yeah, no, it's a practice.
It's like, just love yourself.
Yeah, it's so easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a deeper, yeah.
Yeah.
To
Anyway.
love thyself, you must know thyself.
And how do you know thyself?
To know thyself, you ask the questions.
Yeah. Where's the answers?
Already within.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be asked.
Yeah.
Literally just waiting to be asked, and then they'll just pour forth like.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, but I agree. I'm gonna wrap it because I gotta pee now. It's me doing it, but I agree. If anyone needs to reach out or feels like drawn to reach out, I don't fully understand it quite as much, but I'm here to help too. This guy though, like, first-handedly knows, like, he's there.
I won't tell you to rub some dirt on it.
No, hell
That's
no.
for sure.
Yeah, you don't have, yeah, no. You can, after a while, if it keeps coming up and they, somebody, at least for me, I have to tell myself, rub some dirt on it sometimes. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I won't tell you to cowboy up either.
yeah.
But you're right. And I think at some point it is just that reality check or that slap is just like,
get up. Yep.
Get out. Get out of your head. Stop.
It's literally, I think of Rocky when he's all dazed and his little coach guy is like, hey, kid. And it's kind of like that. Like, focus. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You got to fight to win. It's like, okay. Back in it.
I mean, you keep saying these words that just get me wanting to talk more.
I
So,
gotta pee, man.
yeah,
we
let's
can
wrap it up.
Yeah, but hold
reach
on
out.
to the words too. We'll bring
Suicide
it back.
hotline, or reach out anywhere on social media to just look for me, Clyde Young, Derek Robinson.
Be It One
Be It
podcast.
One.
And it's B period at period one podcast.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Email. Yeah.
Email is the little different. That was
No,
tricky.
that was.
The email's B period at.
No,
period?
it's just Be It One podcast.
At
all
Gmail.
one word. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like.
Sorry. Yeah. Be It One podcast at gmail.com or Instagram b.at.1.
Yep.
All right.
A little confusing. We'll get it.
All right. Love you guys.
Later, guys. Love you.